Life is not a movie where everyone cares about your struggle, your dreams, or your pain. The truth, as harsh as it may sound, is that nobody really cares, not in the way you hope they would. Everyone is busy fighting their own battles, chasing their own goals, and dealing with their own disappointments. And once you realize that, you gain power. Because when you stop expecting sympathy, validation, or attention from others, you free yourself from emotional dependency. You start to focus on what truly matters: your life, your purpose, your growth. This is not a call to become cold or heartless, but to become responsible for your own happiness. CTR1 Wake up to reality, because the world doesn't care about your potential, your feelings, or your intentions. It only respects results. Every single day, millions of people wake up wanting success, talking about success, dreaming about success, but only a handful do something real about it. That's the difference between dreamers and doers. Life will not pause to give you a chance. It will keep moving, with or without you. The harsh truth is that no one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss, not the universe. You are responsible for your own rise. The moment you realize that everything in your life, your happiness, your pain, your future, depends on the choices you make today, that's the moment you start to wake up. Too many people waste years waiting for a miracle, thinking life owes them something, when in reality, life owes you nothing. You get what you work for, not what you wish for. Wake up to the fact that time is not your friend. It's a ticking reminder that every day you delay, someone else is getting ahead. You must stop being blind to your own comfort zone. Comfort feels good, but it quietly kills your ambition. The bed you don't want to leave, the excuses you repeat to yourself, the plans you postpone for tomorrow, all of it builds a cage around your potential. Reality is not gentle. It's raw, it's cold, and it's honest. But once you accept that truth, you become unstoppable. Because when you stop feeling sorry for yourself, you start to feel powerful. When you stop blaming others, you start building yourself. Every struggle you face, every obstacle you meet, is not there to destroy you. It's there to train you. The world doesn't reward complaints, it rewards consistency. You can either spend your life explaining why you haven't made it, or you can get up and start moving toward it. There's no perfect time, no perfect moment, no magical alignment of the stars that will suddenly make things easier. The only time you have is now. The world doesn't pause for the weak, it moves for the determined. You have to wake up and face the mirror. The person looking back at you is both the problem and the solution. Every excuse you've ever made has come from your own mind. But so can every victory, every breakthrough, every dream turned into reality. The world is filled with noise. People talking about what they'll do, pretending to be motivated, but lacking the discipline to act. Be different. Be the one who stops talking and starts doing. Wake up to the fact that you are the creator of your story, not a victim of circumstance. You can rewrite your life at any moment, but only if you're honest enough to see the truth and strong enough to act on it. Life will test you. It will push you, break you, and sometimes humiliate you. But every test is an invitation to grow, to become harder, wiser, and sharper. You cannot escape struggle. You can only choose what you struggle for. So stop chasing easy. Stop avoiding pain. Stop hiding from responsibility. The moment you face reality, truly face it, the fog clears and your power begins to rise. You realize that success is not luck, it's discipline repeated daily. It's saying no to distraction and yes to purpose. It's doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Life is happening now, whether you're ready or not. And if you don't take control of it, it will control you. So wake up, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. Stop expecting someone to hand you the life you dream of. Go out there and build it with your own two hands. Wake up to the grind, to the pain, to the responsibility. Because when you finally open your eyes to the truth that nobody is coming to fix your life, That's when you truly begin to live it. CUPTR2 Nobody cares about your excuses, and that is the purest, most liberating truth you'll ever learn. The world listens to results, not reasons. People might nod when you explain why you couldn't make it, but deep down, they've already moved on. Excuses are the comfort food of failure. They make you feel better temporarily, but they poison your potential in the long run. Every time you justify your lack of progress, you train your mind to accept mediocrity. You tell yourself it's okay to stop, to rest, to delay, but in reality, every excuse steals time from your dreams. Success has no sympathy for those who almost tried. It doesn't matter how hard your life has been, how unfair the system is, or how unlucky you've felt, because someone out there started with less and still made it. The moment you understand that life doesn't pause for your explanations, you'll start living differently. You'll stop talking about what could have been and start focusing on what can still be. Excuses are invisible chains. They keep you bound to the same place while you tell yourself you're moving. You must learn to destroy them before they destroy you. People fail not because they lack talent, but because they protect their weaknesses instead of confronting them. Every excuse you've ever made, too tired, too late, too difficult, too risky, has cost you a piece of your potential, and the worst part is no one else even notices. While you're busy explaining why you couldn't do it, someone else is quietly doing it. The world rewards results, not reasons. The man or woman who overcomes their circumstances will always outshine the one who blames them. That's why successful people seem ruthless, because they don't make excuses, not to others, not to themselves. They take responsibility, even for things outside their control, because that's the only way to stay in control. You can't grow if you're busy defending your limitations. The truth hurts, but it also heals. No one is holding you back but you. You can have excuses, or you can have results, but you can't have both. The power of responsibility is that it gives you freedom. The more you own your situation, the more power you gain to change it. Stop telling yourself stories that justify your stagnation. I don't have time means I won't make time. I don't have resources means I'm not resourceful enough. When you remove excuses, you force your mind to find solutions. That's where growth happens. You become sharper, tougher, and more creative when you stop hiding behind reasons. Think about it. Nobody remembers the person who almost did it, who almost tried, who almost made it happen. History celebrates those who finish what they start. If you keep feeding your excuses, they will grow stronger than your ambition. But if you starve them, if you replace them with discipline, you will become unstoppable. Life is not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. Everyone has problems, pain, and pressure. The difference lies in what you do with them. Weak people complain, strong people convert their pain into purpose. Don't be the one who waits for ideal conditions. They don't exist. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is now. The more you talk about your obstacles, the more they grow. The more you work through them, the smaller they become. You must reach a point where your hunger for success is greater than your comfort in excuses. You must be willing to do it tired, do it scared, because every excuse avoided is a victory of willpower, and every victory compounds. So stop explaining and start executing. Stop hoping someone will understand why you couldn't. Nobody cares, and they shouldn't. Because your life is your responsibility, and your excuses don't pay the price you do. Wake up every morning with one mindset: no excuses, just effort. Whether it's raining, whether you're tired, whether you feel like it or not, show up. The world won't remember what stopped you, it will only remember what you finished. So drop the drama, silence the justifications, and do the work. Because when you finally stop making excuses, you'll realize that all along you were never stuck. You were just comfortable. And comfort is the biggest excuse of all. CUPTR3, the world owes you nothing. Not your happiness, not your success, not your peace. You are not entitled to anything just because you exist. Life doesn't hand out rewards for potential. It rewards persistence, discipline, and courage. Too many people waste years living in quiet frustration, believing that somehow life has cheated them, that the world is unfair, that others have it easier. But this belief is a trap, a prison built from self-pity. The truth is, fairness is a fantasy, and waiting for it will destroy your drive. Life is not designed to make you comfortable, it's designed to make you capable. When you stop expecting things to be given to you, you begin to claim them through action. The sooner you accept that no one owes you anything, the sooner you can take full control of your life. No one is responsible for your happiness. No one is responsible for your dreams. You can't blame your parents, your boss, your circumstances, or the government forever. Everyone starts with different challenges. Some start higher, some start lower. But what truly matters is how far you're willing to go from where you are. Entitlement is the enemy of excellence. It tells you that you deserve more while doing less. It whispers that the world is unfair when, in truth, you've simply stopped fighting for what you want. The world doesn't care about your background, it cares about your contribution. You can spend your days demanding fairness, or you can spend them building strength. Every time you complain, you're giving away the power to change. You must reclaim it. You must understand that your life will only move when you move. Nothing will change until you do. Stop waiting for someone to recognize your worth. Prove it through your consistency. Stop waiting for a miracle. Create one with your effort. Life doesn't give second chances to those who sit still. It rewards those who push forward despite the odds. The world isn't cruel. It's indifferent. It doesn't hate you, but it won't bend for you either. And that's the beauty of it. It's neutral. It doesn't care who you are, only what you do. That means anyone from anywhere, with enough discipline and resilience, can change their destiny. The moment you stop expecting and start earning, everything shifts. You become calmer, stronger, and more focused. Because instead of complaining about what you lack, you start using what you have. You start building instead of blaming. You start winning in silence because you've realized that the world doesn't owe you applause. It only reacts to results. Life respects effort, not entitlement. The only person who can rescue you from your excuses is the one in the mirror. Every minute you spend waiting for validation or opportunity is a minute someone else is using to get ahead. You must outwork your doubt, outlast your pain, and outgrow your comfort zone. You must stop measuring life by what you think you deserve and start measuring it by what you deliver. The day you stop expecting is the day you start expanding, because when you remove entitlement, you create room for gratitude, focus, and hunger. You start to appreciate every little step, every small win, every hard-earned lesson. The truth is, no one is obligated to help you, and no one is required to believe in you. That's your job. If you don't fight for your dream, no one else will. Life doesn't hand you success. It tests if you're worthy of it. Every delay, every failure, every rejection is the universe asking, how bad do you really want it? And most people fail that test because they confuse wanting with working. You can want success all you like, but if you're not willing to grind, sacrifice, and bleed for it, you'll always remain where you are. The world owes you nothing. And that's not a curse, it's freedom. Because when you realize no one is coming to save you, you stop waiting and start acting. You stop blaming and start building. You stop expecting luck and start manufacturing progress. You become the creator of your destiny, not a victim of your circumstances. That's when life starts to change. Not when you demand more from the world, but when you demand more from yourself. The moment you embrace this truth, you become unstoppable. Because nothing can stop a person who expects nothing and earns everything. Saptya 4. Stop seeking validation, because the moment you start living for other people's approval, you begin to die to your own potential. The truth is, most people don't even know what they want for themselves, Yet we constantly crave their opinion about our dreams. We post our progress online hoping for likes. We talk about our goals waiting for claps. We share our struggles expecting sympathy. But here's the brutal truth. No one truly cares enough to give you the validation that will fill your soul. Validation is a trap disguised as motivation. It feels good in the moment, but it weakens you in the long run. Every time you seek someone's approval, you hand them the power to define your worth. And when they disapprove, criticize, or ignore you, your confidence collapses. That's not living, that's performing. You become a puppet controlled by the reactions of others. You must learn to free yourself from that invisible leash. Your dreams are yours to build, not for others to approve. The people you're trying to impress are often too busy doubting themselves to notice your effort. They might cheer for you one day and mock you the next. That's why your self-belief must be unshakable, rooted deep within, not dependent on applause. The crowd is fickle. They love you when you shine, but they vanish when you fall. If you base your value on their opinion, you'll rise and fall like a leaf in the wind. True strength begins when you stop explaining, stop proving, and stop needing validation. You stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, do I respect myself? You stop wondering, am I good enough for them? And start declaring, I'm getting better for me. The need for approval is a slow poison that kills authenticity. It makes you filter your truth, shrink your dreams, and silence your voice just to fit into someone else's comfort zone. But greatness has never come from people who fit in. It comes from those who dared to stand out. When you stop chasing validation, you gain something far more powerful: peace. You move differently. You work silently. You no longer rush to prove, you simply improve. You no longer need the world to understand your vision, because you've learned that vision was never meant for everyone to see. Validation seeking is born from insecurity, but discipline builds security. You build it by showing up daily, even when no one claps. You build it by trusting the process, even when no one notices. You build it by valuing your opinion of yourself more than the world's opinion of you. Remember this: people will talk regardless of what you do. If you fail, they'll whisper. If you succeed, they'll gossip. If you do nothing, they'll judge. So why not do what fulfills you anyway? You owe it to yourself to stop explaining and start becoming. Your focus should not be on being liked. It should be on being effective, being authentic, being relentless. The moment you detach from the need for validation, you become dangerous. Because now, no one can control you with silence or approval. You'll stop asking for permission to exist and start taking space unapologetically. You'll stop playing small to make others comfortable. You'll stop doubting your path just because others can't see the destination. Remember, validation is like a marriage. It looks satisfying from a distance, but when you get close, you realize it was never real. You cannot build an empire on borrowed confidence. You must be your own believer, your own motivator, your own biggest fan. It's not arrogance, it's survival. Because if you don't cheer for yourself, no one else will. The greatest validation you'll ever receive is the peace that comes from knowing you didn't quit on yourself. The satisfaction that comes from discipline, from growth, from consistency. That's the only approval that matters. So work in silence and build with focus and let your results speak. You don't need to post every move or announce every milestone. The loudest noise is made by those who are doing the least. Real success doesn't shout, it shows. And when your results speak, even your critics will listen. Stop chasing claps, stop fearing judgment, and start living for your truth. Because the day you stop needing validation is the day you truly start winning. Not for the world, but for yourself. Sector 5 focus is the new superpower, and in a world drowning in distractions, the ability to stay locked in on your purpose is what separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. Every notification, every noise, every piece of meaningless content is designed to steal a fragment of your attention, and with it, a fragment of your potential. Most people fail not because they lack ambition, but because their focus is shattered, scattered across hundreds of pointless things that add no value to their lives. You cannot build an empire with a distracted mind. You cannot create greatness if your energy is divided between what matters and what doesn't. Focus is rare now, and that's why it's powerful. The one who can control their attention controls their destiny. When you learn to focus deeply, not for minutes but for hours, days, and years, you develop a kind of mental armor that makes you immune to noise. You stop chasing trends and start building legacies. Focus is not about doing more, it's about doing what truly matters with ruthless consistency. It's the discipline to say no. No to distractions, no to unnecessary drama, no to temporary pleasures that cost permanent growth. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you move one step closer to your vision. Every time you delay what's important for what's easy, you lose ground. Life rewards those who stay focused long enough to finish what they started. You have to train your mind to be where your feet are, fully present, fully engaged, fully committed. Most people live in mental chaos, jumping from one idea to another, one plan to another, without finishing anything. That's why they never see results. Focus is not natural, it's earned through discipline. You must practice it like a muscle. Turn off your phone, isolate yourself, and give your full attention to one task until it's done. The world has convinced you that multitasking is productive, but it's not. It's the art of doing many things poorly. Real success requires deep work, uninterrupted, undistracted time where you pour your mind into one purpose. The greats understood this. They disappeared when others socialized. They worked in silence when others wasted hours scrolling. They weren't superhuman, they were simply focused. Focus requires sacrifice. You will have to give up comfort, convenience, and sometimes even company. You will have to become okay with being misunderstood, because people won't understand why you're obsessed with your vision. But obsession is what builds empires. When you focus deeply, life slows down. You start noticing progress where others see nothing. You begin to appreciate the grind because you finally see its purpose. Focus also brings peace. When your energy is aligned with your mission, you stop feeling anxious about what everyone else is doing. You stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. You stop chasing everything and start mastering something. That's where fulfillment lives. Not in constant stimulation, but in meaningful creation. Every distraction has a price, and that price is your future. Every time you waste time, you delay your dream. That's why focus is the most valuable currency you have. Protect it fiercely. Be ruthless about your time. Treat your attention like gold, because it is. When you give your focus to nonsense, you devalue yourself. But when you give it to your purpose, you increase your worth. Your focus determines your future. Your consistency determines your greatness. Stop telling yourself you don't have time. You do, but you're giving it away to things that don't deserve it. You don't need to do everything, you just need to do the right thing, over and over again. Mastery is born from focus, not talent. The person who stays locked in on one mission for 10 years will always surpass the one who jumps from dream to dream every 6 months. Focus is not just a habit, it's a mindset, a lifestyle, a form of self-respect. When you focus on what truly matters, everything else falls into place. Your peace, your confidence, your growth. You stop chasing success and start attracting it, because consistency compounds. Every hour spent focused on your purpose is a deposit into your future. And when that future arrives, the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. You'll smile, because you'll know the truth. While they were distracted, you were focused. While they were busy talking, you were building. While they were chasing attention, you were mastering your craft. So choose focus. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. In the end, your success won't be defined by how much you tried to do, but by how deeply you committed to what truly mattered. Chapter 6. Silence speaks louder than words. and those who understand its power hold a strength that noise can never touch. In a world obsessed with attention, validation, and constant talking, silence has become rare, but it is within that quiet that true growth, discipline, and greatness are built. Most people talk too much about what they're going to do, yet do so little of it. They want recognition before results, praise before progress, but silence, real intentional silence, is a form of mastery. It means you no longer need to announce your goals, defend your vision, or explain your path. You understand that noise doesn't build success, consistency does. When you learn to move in silence, you gain an advantage most people never will. You become unpredictable, untouchable, and unstoppable. People can't attack what they don't know. They can't ruin what they can't see. Your silence protects your energy, your ideas, and your momentum. Every time you talk too soon, you invite doubt, jealousy, and distraction into your space. That's why the most powerful people are often the quietest in the room. They don't boast. They execute. They don't need to prove their worth. They let their results speak. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's the decision to conserve your energy for what truly matters. You stop wasting time explaining yourself to people who have already made up their minds. You stop debating with those who have never built anything. You stop chasing approval from those who can't even understand your vision. The loud talkers seek attention because they lack direction. The silent ones seek growth because they're building something worth revealing. When you learn the discipline of silence, you stop being reactive. You stop letting others control your emotions. You start responding instead of reacting, observing instead of exploding. Silence gives you control over your state of mind. It teaches patience, clarity, and perspective. When you speak less, you listen more, and when you listen more, you learn faster. Every lesson, every opportunity, every insight comes from paying attention, not from speaking. Words are cheap, actions are expensive. Anyone can talk about greatness, few can endure the grind it takes to achieve it. Your silence is your shield against the chaos of the world. It keeps you grounded when others are distracted. It keeps you focused when others are lost in noise. Moving in silence doesn't mean hiding forever. It means mastering your craft privately so that when you do speak, your voice carries weight. Let your success be your announcement, your work be your proof, your peace be your response. People won't understand your silence because most of them need attention to feel alive. But that's their weakness, not yours. You must learn to be comfortable being unseen, unrecognized, and underestimated, because that's where the real transformation happens. Every hour spent working quietly is an investment that compounds when the results show up. You owe no one your plans, your dreams, or your strategy. Let them think you're doing nothing while you're building everything. Let them doubt you. Doubt is the fuel of the silent achiever. You don't owe the world updates, you owe yourself progress. The loud ones burn out quickly because they seek applause instead of mastery. The silent ones last because they've built their empire brick by brick, in peace, away from the spotlight. Silence also humbles you. It keeps you from arrogance and teaches you that success doesn't need to shout. You don't have to convince anyone that you're great. Greatness proves itself over time. The moment you embrace silence, you start valuing your energy like currency. You stop engaging in meaningless arguments, stop explaining to people who aren't ready to understand, and stop reacting to negativity. Instead, you channel all that energy into your purpose. The quiet hours, the lonely nights, the silent sacrifices, that's where your power multiplies. When it's finally time to speak, your words will carry the weight of action behind them. The truth is, people remember what you've done far longer than what you've said, so move quietly, work relentlessly, and let the noise belong to others. Because when your silence ends with success, the world won't just listen, it will be forced to. Shir 7 Master the art of not reacting, because the moment you learn to control your emotions, you gain control over your life. Most people lose not because they lack intelligence or opportunity, but because they allow their emotions to dictate their actions. They react to every insult, every opinion, every temporary feeling, and in doing so, they hand over their power to others. The truth is, emotional control is a weapon, silent, invisible, but devastatingly effective. When you remain calm while others lose control, you dominate every situation. The loudest person in the room isn't the strongest, the calmest one is. Every time you react in anger, frustration, or desperation, you let someone else steer your direction. But when you stay still, when you breathe, when you observe instead of explode, you shift from being reactive to being strategic. You must learn to respond, not react, to pause, not panic. The world will test you daily. People will provoke you, life will frustrate you, and circumstances will try to pull you into chaos. But if you can stay composed in the storm, you will always find a way through it. Emotions are temporary. Decisions made in emotion can create permanent damage. You cannot control what people say or do, but you can always control how you respond. And that control is where your peace and your power lie. Most people live as emotional slaves, happy when praised, angry when criticized, lost when ignored. They let others push their buttons because they have never learned to disconnect their feelings from other people's opinions. Mastering non-reactivity means no longer being a puppet to outside energy. It means walking through life with quiet strength. You hear everything, but you're moved by nothing. You understand that not every comment deserves an answer, not every fight deserves your presence, and not every emotion deserves your reaction. Emotional maturity is not about feeling less, it's about choosing when and how to express what you feel. When someone disrespects you, silence is often the most powerful response. When life disappoints you, patience is your greatest weapon. When anger rises, calmness becomes your shield. Control is not suppression, it's awareness. You feel the emotion, you acknowledge it, but you don't let it own you. You don't let temporary emotions destroy permanent relationships or long-term goals. The weak explode, the strong breathe. The weak blame, the strong reflect. Every moment of restraint strengthens your discipline. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you train your mind to lead instead of follow. Don't let anyone pull you into their storm. Instead, pull them into your peace. There's power in stillness. The power to think clearly, act wisely, and see through the illusions of emotion. People will often mistake your calmness for weakness, but they'll learn too late that it's your greatest strength. The more you master yourself, the less the world can manipulate you. You start to move differently, not because the world becomes easier, but because you've become stronger. You stop reacting to negativity and start redirecting your focus toward growth. You stop seeking revenge and start seeking wisdom. Every battle doesn't need to be fought. Some are won through silence, patience, and understanding. Emotional control is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. You must train yourself daily. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when plans fall apart, when people test your boundaries, each time choose calm. Each time choose control, because every reaction costs energy, and wasted energy steals focus from your goals. When you learn to stay composed under pressure, you become unstoppable. The world will throw chaos your way, but you will move through it with grace. You will start to notice how much peace there is in not reacting, how much strength there is in stillness. You will no longer waste time arguing, proving, or defending yourself. You'll simply rise above it. The mind that is calm can see opportunities that an angry mind never will. So let others shout, panic, and complain. You stay grounded. Let them react, you respond. Let them lose control, you gain wisdom. True power is not in dominance, but in discipline. When you master your emotions, you master every situation. Because no matter what happens around you, nothing can shake a mind that has learned the art of staying still. CHIR 8. You owe it to yourself to stop waiting for someone to save you and start taking full responsibility for your own life. Because nobody is coming to rescue you. Not your family, not your friends, not society, and not luck. The moment you accept that truth, you begin to reclaim your power. Too many people spend years hoping for a break, waiting for approval, or blaming others for their lack of progress. But the harsh reality is that every excuse keeps you exactly where you are. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that's gone wrong. It means owning your choices, your mindset, and your direction. It means saying, even if this situation isn't my fault, it is still my responsibility to change it. That's the mindset that separates winners from complainers. The more you take control, the more life bends to your will. People who achieve greatness don't wait for perfect conditions. They create them. They don't wait to feel ready. They act, learn, and adapt. When you take responsibility, you stop being a victim and start being the author of your story. You begin to understand that your happiness, success, and peace are not anyone else's job. The world owes you nothing. If you want something, you earn it. Every setback becomes a lesson, every challenge a test of your will. The strongest people aren't those who had it easy. They're the ones who kept moving even when everything fell apart. Responsibility builds character because it forces you to grow beyond your excuses. It demands that you show up even when you don't feel like it. It teaches you that nobody is coming to remind you to work, to stay disciplined, or to believe in yourself. That's your job. Self-reliance is not arrogance, it's maturity. It's the understanding that you can't control everything, but you can control your response, your habits, and your effort. And that's enough to change your entire life. Look around. The world is full of people waiting for the government, the economy, or someone else to fix their problems. But those who rise above mediocrity know that waiting is the slowest form of death. Action, even imperfect action, will always outperform waiting for miracles. If you fail, learn. If you succeed, repeat. If you get knocked down, rise again. Every time you stand up after failure, you reinforce your belief that you are capable. Responsibility is freedom disguised as burden. When you finally stop blaming others, you stop depending on them for your future. You start to move differently. You become intentional, disciplined, and unstoppable. You no longer need validation because your results speak louder than any compliment. You stop expecting life to be fair and start working to make it rewarding. You begin to understand that pain is not punishment, it's feedback. Every mistake is a message, every obstacle is an opportunity to sharpen your mind and spirit. People who take responsibility are rare, and that's why they stand out. They don't gossip, they don't complain, they don't waste time comparing. They build, they create, and they evolve. They realize that success isn't luck, it's the accumulation of small, consistent decisions that others are too lazy to make. So stop waiting for motivation and start acting with discipline. Stop expecting someone to guide you and start leading yourself. Stop hoping someone will understand your struggle. Most people won't. It's not their job to. It's yours to keep going regardless. Life will test you again and again, but every test is a chance to prove your strength. The universe rewards responsibility because it shows readiness. When you take ownership, doors open, not because magic happens, but because your mindset shifts from helplessness to empowerment. You start noticing opportunities instead of problems. You start creating instead of complaining. You start growing instead of blaming. Taking responsibility doesn't make life easier, but it makes you stronger, wiser, and far more dangerous to failure. And the best part, you no longer fear losing, because you know that even if everything collapses, you can rebuild it with your own two hands. So stop pointing fingers, stop waiting for signs, stop expecting miracles. Be your own savior, your own coach, your own motivation. You owe it to yourself to live like you mean it, with full ownership of your choices and full awareness of your power. Because once you stop waiting for someone to fix your life, you become unstoppable. Responsibility isn't the end of freedom, it's the beginning of it. It's where real power lives, not in control over others, but in mastery over yourself. CFTR 9, you need to understand that not everyone around you wants to see you win. And that's why protecting your energy, your vision, and your dreams is essential. The harsh truth is that people will smile in your face and secretly hope for your failure. They'll applaud your efforts only as long as you remain below them. The moment you start rising, their support turns into silence, jealousy, or criticism. This is not because you've done something wrong, but because your growth exposes their stagnation. The light you carry will trigger the darkness they hide. That's why you must learn to move in silence and let your success make the noise. Don't broadcast every plan, every goal, or every move you're about to make. People can't attack what they don't know, and the more mystery you create, the more power you hold. The mature ones don't announce what they're doing. They disappear, work, evolve, and return unrecognizable. Every second you waste explaining yourself is a second taken from building yourself. You owe no one an explanation for your journey, your discipline, or your ambition. Those who truly understand you won't need one, and those who demand one will never get it anyway. The reason most people fail is not because they lack ability, but because they talk too much and act too little. They spend energy seeking approval, validation, and applause before they've even earned the results. Learn to value privacy more than popularity. Silence is not weakness, it's a form of strategy. While others waste their breath gossiping, you conserve yours for growth. While they watch, you work. While they speak, you execute. The ones who stay quiet are always underestimated, and that's their greatest advantage. The element of surprise works in your favor when no one knows your next move. Remember, people can't sabotage what they can't predict. Keep your dreams sacred, your progress hidden, and your goals guarded. Not everyone deserves access to your process. Some people are sent to distract you, to drain your focus, and to fill your mind with doubt. Protect your space. Protect your mind. Surround yourself with people who inspire, not those who envy. Energy is contagious. If you're surrounded by complainers, you'll complain. If you're surrounded by winners, you'll rise. Choose wisely who gets to be in your circle. Don't confuse company with connection. Not everyone who stands beside you is truly with you. Some only stay close to gather information, not to celebrate your success. Let your silence filter them out. The more you grow, the smaller your circle will become, and that's how it should be. Success demands solitude. You need time alone to reflect, to plan, to build, and to recharge. The noise of the world will always try to pull you back into mediocrity, but peace is found in the quiet corners of focus. When you stop explaining and start executing, you shift from seeking attention to commanding respect. You no longer need to prove your worth. Your results will do it for you. Let your work speak louder than your words. Every hour spent talking could have been an hour spent creating. Every moment of silence becomes an investment in your future. People love to predict your downfall, but they can't stop what they can't see coming. Move like water, fluid, silent, and unstoppable. When you understand this, you stop chasing approval and start chasing excellence. You stop caring who's watching and start caring about what's working. The loud ones may get attention, but the silent ones get results. And when your results speak, even your enemies will be forced to listen. Learn to become comfortable being misunderstood, doubted, and overlooked, because those are signs that you're doing something right. The best revenge is never confrontation. It's elevation. Rise so high that those who once judged you can't even reach you. Stay humble, stay quiet, stay consistent. The less you talk, the more you learn. The more you listen, the more you grow. Every word you don't speak is power conserved. Every secret you protect is energy preserved. So, guard your focus like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your future depends on how well you can silence the noise and tune into your purpose. Remember, lions don't roar all the time. They move silently until it's time to strike. So move in silence, build in silence, and let success make the sound that echoes louder than any word ever could. Chektar 10 Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become, and without it, every dream, every goal, every plan will collapse under the weight of inconsistency. Motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes like the wind, but discipline is permanent, built on routine, focus, and inner strength. The difference between the successful and the struggling isn't talent or luck, it's consistency. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired, but true growth happens when you show up on the days you don't feel like it. The ones who win aren't the ones who feel good every day. They're the ones who act right even when they don't. Discipline is the act of keeping promises to yourself, and every time you break one, you weaken your self-respect. But every time you keep one, no matter how small, you reinforce your belief in yourself. You start to trust your own word again. The most dangerous person in the world is the one who's consistent, not because they move fast, but because they never stop moving. Small, repeated effort compounds into unstoppable momentum. The world belongs to those who can delay gratification, who can say no to comfort today to earn freedom tomorrow. Discipline means choosing what you want most over what you want now. It's saying no to distractions, no to laziness, no to excuses. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep, focusing when you'd rather scroll, and grinding when no one's watching. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it's what builds empires. The quiet work you do in private becomes the loud success that speaks for you in public. And that's the beauty of discipline. It's invisible at first, but its results are undeniable. People often look at successful individuals and say, they're lucky, but what they don't see are the years of repetition, sacrifice, and consistency behind the scenes. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. It's realizing that emotions are temporary, but results are forever. Every time you act based on emotion, you lose control. Every time you act based on discipline, you take control back. The truth is, success is boring. It's built on habits that most people find too repetitive to maintain: reading daily, exercising regularly, managing time, staying focused. But that's why so few succeed, because they chase excitement instead of excellence. Discipline is not punishment, it's protection. It guards your goals from your impulses. It shields your future from your present weaknesses. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent. 1% better every day might not seem like much, but over time it transforms everything. The real battle isn't against failure, it's against comfort. Comfort kills ambition, and the moment you start prioritizing ease over effort, your potential begins to die. Discipline demands that you become uncomfortable, that you push through the resistance your mind creates. The human mind always seeks the path of least resistance, but greatness lives on the path of most persistence. You'll never regret a day you stayed consistent, but you'll always regret the days you gave in to excuses. Every skipped task is a broken promise to your future self. So make discipline your identity, not something you do occasionally, but who you are daily. You are what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally feel. The gym, the book, the hustle, they don't reward effort, they reward persistence. Discipline is also the foundation of freedom. People think freedom means doing whatever they want, but real freedom is the ability to control yourself enough to achieve what you truly desire. The disciplined one eats well, trains daily, saves money, and works smart. And because of that, they live freely, while the undisciplined live enslaved by bad habits. It's not luck, it's structure. It's not magic, it's mastery. You can't control the outcome, but you can control the input. And discipline is the key to that input. Every great person you admire was once ordinary. The only difference is they stayed committed when others quit. You have to train your mind to follow your commands, not your feelings. Discipline is built like muscle, through resistance. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. And when your discipline is unshakable, no setback can stop you, no failure can break you, and no distraction can derail you. Success is predictable for the disciplined. So stop waiting for motivation, stop relying on inspiration. Just start, every single day. Because the days you don't want to show up are the days that matter most. Discipline will hurt now, but regret will hurt forever, so choose your pain wisely. Let your discipline be louder than your doubts.